All right, welcome everyone. My name is David Stark, and we are here with the second episode of the Athletes Podcast. Welcoming in our guest today, Megan DeLay, a professional hockey player in the National Women's Hockey League. Thank you for coming, Meg, and give us a little introduction about yourself.
Wow, thank you for having me here. I'm excited to talk about everything today. Basically, I just started skating when I was 2 years old, and that's pretty much where it all started. My older brother was playing for a bit, and then my mom couldn't keep me off the skates, and then I started on the pond with the double blades. I don't know if you've ever tried those before.
It wasn't successful.
No.
I just skated in a straight line.
Oh, yeah. Usually how it starts. I remember I tried on figure skates once, and I toe picked so hard, I took them right off and never put them back on. And that was that.
Gotcha. And then you just had a passion for hockey ever since?
Yeah, pretty much. I played with the boys since I was 4 pretty much, and then I didn't switch over till major bantam, and then I started in Fort Erie. Then I went to girls straight to midget AA in St. Catharines, and that was fun. And then I got recruited up to the Barracudas, the junior team in Burlington. Played there for a season, and then went back and had some more fun in midget AA, and then that's where I got recruited to Plattsburgh State. And that was a blast.
Nice.
Won our national championship there. And then I came home. I went to Brock University, where we met in 2016. And then that was a roller coaster of a season.
With the Brock team?
Yeah.
What was the roller coaster aspect?
I guess you could say I hate to say it, but our coaching staff, I guess, was a little on the lower end, and it was just a lot of butting heads. We didn't agree on everything, so there was a lot of controversy and stuff there throughout the season, and then we didn't make playoffs, so then that sucks, and it's never fun when you get cut early.
Right.
But yeah.
Is that something that you've noticed, the comparison now as a professional athlete compared to being an amateur playing for Brock as a university institution? What is that like, a professional coach versus someone who's being...
I wouldn't say necessarily the professional aspect, because she had a pretty good resume for the most part, but it was just her coaching style, it was pretty new to the university organization, I guess. Okay. So she wanted to coach at higher up opposed to what it should be handled at, I guess. Gotcha. It was a good program. It was a decent season. Our team was really tight knit, so I think that's what got us through to the end. Right.
And then, so after that, the next year you went on and played for the Markham Thunder.
Yes.
And you guys won the Canadian Women's Hockey League that year, the Clarkson Cup.
Right. So I didn't know what I wanted to do for school, so I took a year off, and that's when I entered the draft for the CWHL, and I got drafted to Markham. And then I was playing next to Laura Stacey and Jocelyn The Rock for half the season, I guess. And then we won the Clarkson Cup in overtime against the Chinese team. So
wow,
that was sick. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was intense. The entire game was so nail biting, and you're on the edge of your chair the entire game. But yeah, it was fun. It was an experience and a half for itself.
Gotcha. And what was, you talk about going from at a young age playing with the boys and then transitioning to the girls. What was that like? Was it a difficult process?
I wouldn't say a difficult process. It was a process and a half, that's for sure. And playing with the women's team, it was crazy because I was looking up to these girls for I don't know how many years, and at the age of 21 and playing next to them. So it was whoa, I'm that good to be here, or I'm lucky as hell.
Yeah, shell-shocking.
Luck definitely got me where I did, but I definitely took the opportunities as they laid in my path, so that's what got me far enough.
Good for you. Yeah, it's an impressive resume as a 22-year-old to be, now this year signing with the Buffalo Beauts in the National Women's Hockey League, playing alongside, Shannon Zabados, for instance. She's someone who I met at Tendy Fest in it's a little goalie reunion in in Burnaby, British Columbia. Very cool. Wow. Yeah, it's just, this was the third year this year, but met Shannon. She's an incredible human being, probably one of the nicest people. Wow. Sent out a tweet after to thank her, and she actually replied. Made my whole year.
Oh my God.
But so what is that like now, been working and playing alongside in the States as well, right? Because, playing in a different country, what has come along? What are the challenges associated with that?
I don't know. It's funny because Buffalo is actually closer than Markham to my own home, so it's kind of like I'm home, but I'm not. So it's gonna be a whole new fan base for me, which is kind of cool. So I get to start from square one and hopefully stand out and impress the crowd, and hopefully they enjoy me playing and cheer me on and buy my merch because I get that dollar.
Oh, okay. So you actually, it's like you
endorsement.
receive.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
I get a percentage. Every jersey somebody buys, I get a percentage, which is awesome. So
No way.
get out there. Yeah.
Okay, so that brings up another fantastic point then. So you're receiving compensation from merchandise, but that definitely does not compensate you enough for the actual work that you put in and what your salary should be.
Yes.
So something that I really wanted to talk about today specifically was, the lack of compensation when it comes to female professional sports.
Oh yeah.
What are your sort of thoughts on that? I want to get into that, dive deep into it.
This fires me up. I don't know. I think it's funny because the CW has been around for 12 years until
Canadian Women's Hockey League.
Canadian Women's.
Okay. CWHL, just for the listeners.
Oh yeah.
Make sure.
Thank you. Sorry.
For those who aren't watching,
So we'll reverse a bit. Yeah. So when I played for Markham, that was the CWHL, and when I played, it was their 10th year running as a league, and I think 10 years is quite some time. And at the 10th year is when they first started paying their players, which is some decent time to play and work all this time without being paid.
So they went the first 9 years of their career volunteering?
Pretty much. And working part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and then playing their games on the weekend and whatnot. But now knowing that we get paid is awesome, but it's nothing near what the NHL players are making, so that kind of frustrates me, but I don't understand, what is going on in that sense. I don't know why it's taking this long, and there's a lot of opinions behind it, but there's only it's just bleh, bleh, bleh.
It's a sensitive subject, and
yeah.
So give me a sense of what your guys's, and I don't need specifics, but what does your guys's contract structure look like in comparison to the NHL? For instance, this year the minimum salary in the NHL is $700,000 for a player. Next year it's jumping up to $750,000 as a minimum entry contract. Ridiculous numbers that these guys are pulling in.
Right.
And then for you guys, on the other hand, Canadian Women's Hockey League and spent 9 years volunteering. Now, what's the compensation look like for you guys, just in a ballpark range?
Well, take a few zeros off, and then you're in the ballpark range. But yeah, we're not it's enough. It's nice to make, I guess you could say, but we're definitely not quitting our day jobs because of this. So.
And there was talk about stuff happening, and you mentioned prior to the start of this show, there might be a boycott that's happening, or there is a boycott that's happening. Can you go into detail a bit about that?
Yeah, so there is a boycott going on right now. So all our national players, including Team Canada and Team USA, have made a professional women's player association, and they're basically boycotting the NWHL. And rumor has it that if both leagues, including the CW and the NWHL, fold, the NHL will pitch in financially and supposedly start a new league. So for those who don't know, the CW did fold recently, and now the players movement is trying to help the NW fold, which is an extremely touchy conversation. But basically everyone folding
That's okay.
everyone who's boycotting is coming together, and they're saying that there's more for the future and we deserve more, obviously, and I agree with them in 100%. But at the same time, they're taking the season off, which I get it. They're making their statement, but at the same time, here I am, and there's over 70 other players that are signed in the NWHL, and we are taking our time out to play and keep the league going, just to keep playing, to show the little girls that there is still a future there, and while in the background the NHL and the PA are working together to figure out whatever.
Right. And it's also a case where you have to, still make a name for yourself, right? Because you can't, if you take a year off at 22, you go in, who knows what holds for you next year, right?
Yeah.
And you still have to, you still got to be able to feed yourself at the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
And it's a difficult position to be put in, especially when you've got teams offering you a contract. You want to be able to, fulfill that and play to the best of your abilities, and you still have to grow as a player as well. So I understand your side of that.
And I feel like playing this year, like I'm putting my foot in the door for next year even. Like when the professional players do come back, or the national players, when they come back, like I'm not going to sit on the sidelines again. Like I'm going to work my butt off to like stay in the position I'm in.
Yeah.
So, but
that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, and it's good. I applaud you for doing that despite it being a difficult situation you're put in. So actually that's, in light of that, the other side of it, different sport, but in the NFL, there's a female who's been playing soccer for the national women's team. She's had multiple conversations with NFL teams as far as kicking for them.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you've heard of this.
I actually haven't.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I really should have, but if I wasn't using my phone to record this, we'd be able to look her up. But anyway, she's basically had multiple contract talks with NFL teams wanting her to kick field goals for them, and she actually turned down playing for a team to be able to continue playing for her U.S. National team.
Oh wow!
And which was very surprising, and she actually received a lot of backlash for that. What's her name? Lloyd. Yeah, Carly Lloyd. So basically, she's had talks with her agent about joining the NFL and kicking for an NFL team, but she received so much backlash for not kicking originally, and a lot of that backlash was guys on social media commenting, saying, "Oh well, you're turning down all this money now that you've been complaining about for the last couple of years," when in reality she's still trying to play the game that she loves and she's been training for her whole life. So what would your it's
kind of in the same situation I'm in. Like she wants the more money, but she doesn't want to go out of her way and do something else to make it. Like why can't we just make it doing what we love? And the reason why we're playing is, like, obviously we're playing because we love the game, but at the same time it would be nice to like have some equality there at the end of the day.
For sure.
Between the two between two genders.
Yeah, and
men and women.
It's unfortunate because it's not just hockey, it's not just soccer, it's every professional sport seems to be dictating males versus females and then the compensation associated with it. Do you see a change in this moving forward? Do you think this boycott is something that will effectively end up getting you guys more money?
I can't see it not helping. I think it's a bold move, and for all them to take the risk, like the year off, is definitely making a point. But at the same time, there's no plan in place that I know of. There's no guarantee for anything, and are we expanding the league? Are we, like, there's so many questions behind it, and they're only sharing so much with the public, and that's what kind of frustrates me, because like why aren't we reaching out to more people and stuff like that? And I hope, I guess, in the long run that it does make us more money, because that's a huge move for them to make.
For sure. Yeah, and I think it rightfully so. You guys deserve to be making, I won't go into detail about whether it should be equivalent to what the men are making, just given the fact that, they're able to pull in so much from a financial standpoint.
And I don't think
spectators.
and I'm not, like, it's not like we're asking for millions of dollars overnight, but enough to, like, get us started and financially, like, for McDavid making however much he's making a season, his salary alone could financially support our league. And that's what kind of blows my mind. It's just like why it still is what it is.
Yeah, and I think I was reading an article, I think for an NHL player, the maximum salary they can make is 20% of the team's salary cap. and what the salary cap's on 60, 70 million, some ridiculous number. So, you've got a guy pulling in 13 million a year. That could go a long way in supporting some.
Or for example, the Seattle Seahawks the new NHL Seattle expansion team.
Yeah.
How much is it going to cost to financially support that team? Meanwhile, here's a complete league that could use that salary cap. But at the same time, they're the men's league and we're the women's league. So I guess this is where we need to fold our league in order to get that support.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't have to come to that, but if that's what it takes, hopefully, in the long run it ends up being beneficial. And so coming back to the Buffalo Beauts specifically, what is it like with the team now? Is there a lot of animosity between the players that are playing? Is that something that's caused a lot of stress, this boycott, having players that are leaving?
Definitely. I think it's definitely pulled out a bunch of players that kind of were on fence, but if they did sign, they were obviously kind of like, well, why'd you do that, from the other players? So it's interesting. I know that the NWHL is signing a lot of graduates from universities, and that's where we're getting our league from pretty much this year. And then you got the odd one like me, and a girl in Buffalo, Bowie, she just re-signed, but she moved to Buffalo to play hockey, so for her to boycott again is kind of silly considering she's in the city for that reason.
Right.
But
well, I mean, that's hopefully she ends up feeling like she made the right decision overall, right?
Yeah.
So enough about money.
Yeah, thank you.
Get rid of that subject for now.
Yeah.
So another interesting topic specifically as far as women's sports that you just brought up before the show as well was surrounding pregnancy, how females have to deal with that added extra layer. At a certain age, people start wanting to build those families, having that just that community feel. And men don't have to, bear a child for 9 months and then
exactly.
however longer that takes.
Yeah.
And Team USA's captain recently was announced that she was pregnant, Megan Duggan. What is that kind of like for you? Understanding you're only 22, I don't know.
Not in the books for a couple of years, but it's definitely, like you said, it's added weight, and it's that much more that we do in the sport. So when we get pregnant, we have to take all that time off, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's life, and whether you want to come back after your pregnancy is completely up to you, and then whether if you can still compete, if your spot's still there, there's a lot surrounding it. So for men, they can have how many kids and still keep playing. So it's an interesting surrounding, and it kind of reverts back to the money as much as we don't like talking about it, but why don't we get paid for time off, or whatnot? And it's interesting. And
so you guys wouldn't get paid? Sorry, just to clarify, there's no pay if you were, for instance, on maternity leave?
Well, technically, how long is a season?
Yeah, I guess my understanding would be it would be similar to any other salary compensation package.
Right. So, well, I haven't been through it, and I don't know anyone personally who has been, so I can't really say much, but a season's if you're lucky, 8 months.
Yeah.
Pregnancy's 9 months, and that cuts in between the end or the beginning either way.
Wow.
And so if you don't play for a season, not really making money, I guess.
Yeah. So do you know of women who are, delaying the thought of starting a family because they want to continue their career, and is that something that's always in the back of a lot of women's minds?
I would assume, I don't know any personally, but for myself, that's one of the reasons, I don't want any, I don't want to have a kid anytime.
FYI for any listeners.
Yeah. Not for, anyways, I definitely am delaying it myself because I want to keep playing for as long as I can. I love the game, and without playing, I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing, and I feel like if I would stop playing, it would be for that exact reason.
Right.
Is when I start to have a family. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah. And so what was it like making that transition from the Canadian Women's Hockey League that just recently folded now to the National Women's Hockey League? Is the treatment You guys, what's that like? What's your travel schedule like? You said there's only 5 teams, so are you guys traveling via bus, plane? Do you guys get the full first class luxurious flight that the NHL teams do, or what's yours?
Well, so for it being my first year, I haven't experienced any of it, so I can't really say much. I know the CW treated us pretty decent, I can't lie. When we actually flew to China, and that was a long flight, that was all taken care of, I guess. The NW has already reached out to us, like the league itself, and we already sized for all our equipment and stuff like that, and they reached out about our social media, so it's kind of cool that they're interacting with the players themselves, and hopefully they start like tweeting about us and whatnot, so it starts talk, I guess, on their street, and then once we start playing, all that stuff's going to be out there, and our merchandise, and our merchandise is actually pretty cool because like I didn't know about that before, and we're getting that extra $1 for that, which is awesome. For sure. So the support goes a long way, and like when your family tries to help you out in the CW, it doesn't really come back to you in a way, I guess, but when they help out in the NW, it's coming right back in your pocket, which is nice to know.
It's incentivizing you playing well and having that support from the fan group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel as though that the NWHL is doing what they can as far as promoting you guys, promoting the league? Obviously they're not in a probably flushed financial situation given the fact that they're struggling to put together
5 teams.
5 teams with minimal
now
contracts on these players. Are they doing what they can? It sounds like from a social media standpoint, they're doing as much as they can, trying to pump you guys up.
I really think that they're putting themselves out there for sure, especially when it comes to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff. As far as the TV contracts, I don't know how that works, but I know for a fact that I've watched NW on TV, and I think that's a huge thing. If we can even get a TSN deal, I know the CW was with Sportsnet.
Okay.
But if we get out like on the big screen with the NHLers, then I feel like we'll start reeling it in.
Yeah.
Like I think that's where it needs to be though.
Yeah, there needs to be that exposure that's given. And I think that's probably part of the issue from the beginning is the fact that you guys haven't had that exposure to recognize, because it's a exceptionally good talent that's on the ice, and without people seeing it, unless you're going physically to the games, you're not able to witness the high caliber of play that's going on, right?
And that was actually one of the questions that the league asked us in one of the surveys when we were doing our social media and whatnot. They were like, what do you want to see from the league? And I was like, a little more advertising so they know when, and they don't have an excuse to like miss the game or whatever. But yeah, like I hope that it needs to get out there on the social media, because that's where everyone is right now.
Right.
And I think that'll help expand it.
So where can people find you on your social media so that you can pump up your followers?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Meg Delay with 3 G's, and then on Twitter, I'm Meg_Delay.
Nice.
So.
Okay. So you guys heard it there. You gotta make sure you give her a follow. Retweet all of those Buffalo Beauts comments, getting her merchandise out there. Do you have any questions as far as what, from an athlete's perspective, I'm curious what you guys go through, what your training schedule looks like. I know training camp's probably in the midst of going on currently. What does it look like for you guys prior to the season, the off season? What does a typical day look like?
All right. Well, I've been training my entire life, so I've low-key been taking the summer off.
Humble brag.
Don't tell anyone. But we had a free agent camp, so that's kind of where it all starts. That's where we have our first skate with other potential players and whatnot, and we meet our coach and the GM, and that's where I met Mandy, our GM. And then we have our first skate is September 11th, which is our practice. And I personally enjoy going for a dry season, so no alcohol, or like go out for a drink here and there, but I don't like to party during the season just because it really sets me back. But I'll be in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, depending on if we have games that weekend or not. But yeah, we 2 hours before the game and then warm up, which gets us going, and then after the game we cool down as well. But depending on what day of the week and what games we have on the weekend, if we're traveling or whatnot, I'll do like a quick workout before or right after we get there. So it's like kind of get the jet lag out and then go from there. But before Fridays and whatnot are a little lighter, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays we'll push ourselves.
And what does your diet look like during the season? Are you staying strict to a specific diet, or are you
carb overload?
Okay.
I love my carbs. No, but usually I'm pretty healthy all around, but I'll focus really hard on the healthier end of it for sure, and then a lot of smoothies and protein shakes.
Okay. And do you dabble with any intermittent fasting? Are you trying any other techniques, any specific organic raw diets? No?
No, not necessarily. I don't have the discipline for that, but I know some people, actually my boyfriend, he did the fasting for however long, and I wanted to kill him. It was the worst thing. He ate during this time. It was so strict, and I was like, you suck, like, can't we get a pizza? But it worked out for him, but after that was it. But I don't have the discipline for that.
Intermittent fasting is the best.
Is it? What is it? I know like a certain fasting, but I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, so it's basically you eat within an 8-hour window during the day.
Okay.
So, for instance, I'll eat from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I can honestly basically eat whatever I want during that time.
Okay.
And then the other 16-hour period, half of that I'm sleeping, and then the other half I'm just drinking water and coffee.
That's like my diet then.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
my life.
So many people are doing it as it is already.
Mm-hmm.
But it's incredible as far as
those extra hours that you hold off for.
Yeah, just in the morning, and that's what breakfast, air quotes, was standing for, is breaking your fast, right?
Oh.
So.
Whoa! I just got mind blown.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so nice little piece of fruit. 2:00 gets the metabolism going, and from there you're golden, and it's incredible the benefits that you receive from your hormone levels.
Wow.
I feel more energetic throughout the day, so I recommend it to everyone. But it's all about finding whatever your body likes and your body reacts to the best. So as far as your eating goes, do you guys go through the same strict testing process as far as supplements, that kind of thing? What does it look like for you guys?
In the NW, I'm not sure. I know that we do a physical, so like your overall body, like make sure you're okay and healthy kind of thing. In college, I did the same thing. I did a physical, but we had a substance line, I guess, and we couldn't like do certain things because we could have random drug tests.
Right. For
the NWHL, I actually have no idea. So I think we'll find that out within the first week or whatnot.
Fair enough.
But
interesting. Well, you'll have to let me know about that, because I'm curious to know whether they're as strict with you guys, given that the NHL has had such an issue.
Yeah, all the posts about the cocaine
suspended.
I was like,
suspended for 4 years from the IWHL.
That's a long time.
Guy's buzzing, but
literally.
But guys wants to have some fun occasionally, and the IWHF are also the ones that aren't letting NHL players aren't playing in the Olympics anyways. So big whoop. Doesn't affect his NHL contract.
Yeah.
The one where he's making millions of dollars.
That he can afford to take off 4 years.
And the cocaine.
And pay for he might be broke after the cocaine, but.
Yeah, we'll find out once he retires.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about what it was like as a athlete in university, balancing a full course load or 3 or 4 courses while still trying to be a varsity athlete. And on top of that, having a social life, because university is a fun time.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Not gonna lie, it was pretty cool. Like walking down the hallways and seeing your teammates, like a group of them too. I feel like everywhere we went, we were in like little clans, and then we obviously had like our class friends and stuff like that. So it was pretty sweet. And then obviously pretty much every day, we had a different bar night.
Really?
So yeah, either it was a house party or our like team bonding time, or it was Isaac's or Mansion or something like that. So it was pretty cool, and we always had somewhere to go.
Yeah. As
far as a house or like one of our hockey houses, and then we always had people to go with. So it was pretty cool. Like even if you didn't want to go, it's not like you were friend pond, but like people, you still have a group to go with.
Absolutely, and it seems like the camaraderie within the team was solid.
Yeah,
and you got a good group of gals.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. No matter what, there was always someone you could talk to or whatever, and then we were always getting into trouble one way or another. Low key, don't tell anyone.
So, high key, tell me what you're talking about. You open that door.
Well,
you can't expect me not to ask.
Okay, so the beginning of the season, we actually had, was it 2 girls suspended from our team right off the hop for like 2 weeks. They got wasted on a school night and got into shit, and then
I also don't drink ever, folks. You know, sober.
Yeah, right. And then when they came back and we finally had a full team, the next day 2 more girls got suspended because they were drinking underage. So that was that. And then something else happened. For the first 4 months of the season, our entire team was not together because someone was suspended for doing something underage or wrong, or it was a shit show. Like I said, the coaching was strict and we weren't.
Clearly the strict coaching did not reflect and work well on the underage drinkers. Well, the Athletes Podcast does not condone drinking underage under any circumstances. So how do you think is that something that, you know, the university or institutions need to take into consideration? Is that difficult to manage younger athletes, not female versus male, it's just young athletes in general when they're in that situation and setting at university having fun?
I think that's something you need to advertise as a university. It's almost like when you have super strict parents, your kid's gonna grow up sneaking out, right? But if you're more laid back, your kid's gonna grow up and grow out of it. Yeah. But it's the same thing with university. They're in university, they're at that age, they need to get in trouble, they need to do stuff, I think, at least, so they can grow out of it when they go into their real life jobs. They know how to handle it when it comes around. But
yeah, it's an important, I talked even in the last podcast about how university is this opportunity for so much growth.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't take advantage of that, then what was your time spent doing at university?
Exactly.
I mean, I understand going through school, getting good grades, getting that piece of paper, but there's so much outside of, you know, the classroom that there is to be learned about yourself, living on your own.
Yeah.
As a human being, dealing with, you know, 18 other females in a dressing room, dealing with coaches who might be strict, have a different philosophy.
But that's life.
That's life, right? You got to deal with that on an everyday basis, whether it's your boss, whether it's, you know, family members. You don't necessarily get to choose who you're with at every moment. And I think it's important in university to have that. And, you know, unfortunately for you guys, you had a strict coach, but have you had coaches on the other hand, you know, have a completely 180 and be too loosey-goosey?
I don't think too loosey-goosey, but I've had one coach where we had a dry season. This is the best coach I've ever had. He was an 8-time coach of the year.
What's his name?
Oh my god, Kevin Houle.
Kevin Houle.
Yeah, he's an older, he's so smart when it comes to the game, and it was crazy. But what he did, he set up in the beginning of the season, he asked us, he's like, do you guys want to have fun or do you want to win? And we're all we took the night, thought about it, and we all threw our vote in, and the majority won, and it was, we want to win. So he made us do a dry season, but when we had a bye week, we got to drink on that night before, so we had a week to recover, if that makes sense. So after we had 2 away games, we could party that night and then get a week to come back instead of whatever, or 2 weeks technically.
Yeah.
But it's we worked our asses off, and then when it came down to it, it was his business almost. And we had 3 days. We would wake up at 6 a.m. for 6 a.m. sprints, and then we'd go to the gym, and then we'd have practice, and it was we were working, so we deserved those nights here and there. And then of course it worked because we won. So
this was last year in the CW?
This was in college. So 2015.
And what team was that for?
Plattsburgh State.
Okay.
Yeah, college.
We got to touch on that. How was
that? it was crazy. This is probably one of the best years of hockey and school combined. I was literally living the dream. I was living with 4 of my teammates, And then we had practice every day, sometimes 7 days a week, even though that's kind of illegal. But we were working hard. We did literally everything together. So we would wake up 6 a.m. sprints, like I said, and then we'd go to class, meet up for practice, or eat before practice, obviously, and then go to practice, eat after practice together, and then go to the gym together. And like we literally spent almost 24/7 together, and it was crazy. But it was a lot of fun because those nights off, we took advantage.
For sure.
Oh yeah, couple blackouts.
There you go. All right. Well, and what was college compared to university? What was that balance, even from an academic and from an athletic standpoint?
So from the academic standpoint, there was so I went to D3, and it was, as bad as it sounds, it's like a glorified high school almost.
Okay.
So I took relatively the same subjects, but obviously harder, and it got you to where you needed to go almost, instead of like going through 5 years of university and like taking all like long lectures and stuff like that. College was very more like one-on-one as far as with the professor.
Okay.
It was a little more laid back, I'd say. It was a lot of fun. Like and we lived on campus, so we could walk to class and stuff like that, and it was
was that for just you as athletes or all students at Plattsburgh?
The majority of students, I'm pretty sure. There was a few there were frat houses and fraternities, so like
that's where the fun was.
Yeah, that's where the fun was, a street over.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the athletes though, like we lived together, and then we did everything together, and then when we had our time, we'd go visit the frats.
Yeah. Check in, make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah, make sure they have laundry soap and stuff like that. Take care of them, right?
Rehydrate,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Well, so that the college aspect sounds like there was that emphasis on fun compared to your university experience. Doesn't sound like there was as much of that going on. It was more the academic was a huge academics were a huge focus.
Right. So like when I went to college, it was like kind of high school again. Like you had your group and you did what you had to do, and you worked hard obviously to get what you needed. But university, it seems like it's a very head to the books. Like you felt like you were in a university and these people are going places, and maybe like it is for certain people, but like I just wasn't that student, I guess, and that's where I like fell off the horse with that, and I had more fun in college, but I felt at home as far as the atmosphere in university.
Okay.
But it was a lot more studious, I guess.
Fair enough. And so I think that probably goes along with what most people have in the back of their minds of, college maybe having more of a balance between athletics and academics, and university putting that emphasis on creating student athletes, emphasis on the
instead of athlete students.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely what they advertise it, I guess.
Okay.
College is very, it's more laid back and hands-on, I guess. And then university's like, here's your textbook, go learn.
And then hockey on the side.
Yeah, and hockey on the side. But college was it was school first and hockey second. But
hold on. Air quotes around school
Air
first.
quotes, school first. No, we definitely missed a couple classes for hockey, for sure. And there was way more hockey than there was school, it seemed like. So that's where.
And having a good coach, one that you loved for that long, is probably had that positive effect on the whole situation, not necessarily just that 1 year,
Yeah, we had a really good captain group too, so it kept us all motivated, which was awesome.
Any special names you want to throw out?
Andrea Zeisman.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's actually my captain last year in Oakville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And what was Oakville? So between Markham and Buffalo?
Yes, you got it. So after Markham, I took a year. Sorry, reverse. I went back to school. I went to Mohawk College for business and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I got a whole business plan for a hockey school. So if I ever quit my day job, I might start that up. But then while I was in school in Markham, I played for the Oakville Hornets senior AA team.
Okay, and what's sorry, I'm in BC. What is senior AA? female, where does it fit in the mix, the hierarchy of...
Right. So basically, after university, if you don't play professional, you play senior. So it would be like like junior C or something like that.
Okay.
Like, I don't even know how to compare it to men's league.
Okay.
Men's league, beer league, kind of like that. But like it was better than beer league, but lower than professional.
Okay.
So in the mix there.
So there really isn't a huge transition for female hockey players, after university before professional. There's just that senior route, and that's your only opportunity unless you go pro.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Or beer league. Yeah.
Beer league, yeah. We all enjoy the beer leagues,
Oh yeah.
So is there anything else that you'd like to tell the listeners, something that you want to chat about, or you...
Retweet.
Retweet?
Keep talking about it, because I think women's hockey, the only way for it to grow is if we grow it. So
I completely agree, and I think it I mentioned it earlier, but I firmly believe that it deserves a lot more attention than what it's currently getting, and hopefully whether this buyout or boycott is what it takes, hopefully it gets the attention it deserves. But I really appreciate you coming on for the second episode of the Athletes Podcast. Let everyone know again where they can find you on Instagram, Twitter, etc.
So I'm on Instagram at Meg Delay with 3 G's, and then I'm on Twitter, Meg_Delay.
Perfect. All right, thank you very much, Meg. This has been the second episode of the Athletes Podcast, and we are signing off.
Cha-ching.